Good afternoon, everyone. I just wanted to do another video, again on figures. Seems this channel's going to be getting a lot of figure things done, maybe, because there's a lot to them that I haven't actually really talked about. So I wanted to talk about basically tips for ordering them, is really what I wanted to integrate into this video today. And now in front of me I have several things that you can use if you want to kind of help you keep track of your figures that you order. Since if you go to any website like Hobby Search or AmiAmi or let's see, Lunar Toy Store, Tokyo Otaku Mode, basically if you go to any of those stores that allow you to pre-order a figure without having to pay up front, you could find yourself in a bit of a pinch later if you forget that you have that figure coming that month. So anyways, I kind of want to go through like a 3 or 4 step guide to ordering a figure that you would want, and some things that you can use, and some things that you might not want to use. So anyways, let's get into it. So first off is, pick your website, of course. Reputable website. So I'm not talking eBay. Don't use eBay at all, even though, yes, you can find legit figures. I kind of go through a little bit of a guide on eBay in my video about eBay. But overall, do not use eBay. It's just not a good place, and you don't support bootlegs. Just get the real thing. It's gonna last you longer. You fork out, for an Android compared to eBay, they offer for $20. They go for 40 or 50 new. Just fork out the extra 30, and do it and get them. But anyway, so pick a reputable site. I have a few of them listed on my channel. If you go to JList, they're a bit expensive, but they're reputable. AmiAmi, they're a really good website. Hobby Search is a really good website. Like I said, Lunar Toy Store, their customer service is awesome. Tokyo Otaku Mode. There's a few others, actually. I would like to do videos on them at some point. And if you guys have any that you've used that you're really happy with, feel free to comment in the description below. And hopefully you guys like this video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up, and think about subscribing and sharing the video with people who are also looking for an idea. So after you've got your website picked that you want to pre-order from, I would highly suggest writing it down in some sort of whatever you choose to use. Like I said, I've got some examples. So this is probably the most expensive option. I use it for more than just figures, though. This is basically almost for everything. So this is just a Franklin Covey planner. You don't have to use this. This is really, really, really in depth. Like I said, I use it for a lot more than just figures, though. So it benefits me. But this is probably about an $80, $90 planner. And you refill it every year with new stuff, and the refills are about $31 to $40 as well. So it's expensive, but it's really handy. So if I go through the months here, if I go to March, this is what I like about it. March 29, it has an index. So if you look at the index, I'm going to cover up the bottom because that's a little bit personal information. But I've written down that I have a figure coming. So it is the Jalter dress version, and I've written down what she costs. You go to April, and again, I'll cover up one thing because it's personal. I've written what might be coming that month. So it keeps going. So I really like this because of that little index part, the notes part basically that you can take. The back also has day-to-day notes and scheduling, things like that. We're into August, so it's all empty right now, but it has day-to-day, things like that, daily notes, so it's good for like the YouTube channel, or whatever. That's why I like this planner, and that's why I invested into it, because it suits me. But like I said, you don't need to use it. This is very expensive, and if you have no reason to use that many things, then this isn't going to benefit you at all. And you're better off getting something like what I'm about to show you next. You can go to Barnes & Noble or any office supply store or school thing, and you can just pick up a little Moleskine notebook, basically. Nothing fancy, about $10 or so, and you got a perfectly good thing to be able to plan your figures in. Doesn't have any days, so you would just basically have to write in. So I just write in 2019 figures on it, and I just list out the months. January, and I give myself about 6 spaces. March, 6 spaces. April, and just list out every month of the year. And every time you order a figure, you just go pop this open and you write it down. And the reason why I say it's important to write down your figures that you have ordered, especially from websites that allow you to pre-order without paying up front, is because it's so easy to forget that you've ordered a figure from that website. You go into another website, like Hobby Search or AmiAmi. Sometimes AmiAmi offers exclusives that Hobby Search doesn't. And sometimes it coincides with a figure that's coming out on Hobby Search that you've ordered and you forget about it. Oops. And so, like July, there's actually three figures. Because I was bad and I forgot to write them down. And so I got one from AmiAmi and one from another and one from Hobby Search. So, oops, I forgot to write those down. And because of that, I have 3 figures coming in 1 month. Luckily, that month is for AX, so it means a little bit less money than I spend at AX, but I will be okay monetary-wise. It's kind of falling apart. I carry this with me everywhere because it's good for other little notes too. So I don't just use this strictly for figures. I use it for other day-to-day notes, whatever as well. But yeah, you can just get something like this, really easy, really cheap, nice to have, and just make sure that you're writing down what you've got coming so you don't make the mistake I did. One that you won't really do much good though is a simple planner like this. It just has month and days basically. No area for notes before the months. Nothing like that. Just strictly month and days. It's not going to really do you too much good because oftentimes figures don't really list the day that they're coming out. And oftentimes they're delayed or oftentimes they're pushed back. So, something like this where you're having to write it on a specific day, you can't just go to one section of the month at the beginning of the month before it starts or when it's coming up and go, oh, okay, that's right, yeah, I've got this figure coming up. So I need to make sure I save some money for that. With this, if you write it on a certain day, you're going to be going through day to day, and you might not see it until later in the month, and you're like, oh, that's right, I had a figure, oops. So I don't really recommend calendars like this for figure planning. Obviously, these have their own little perks, things like that, that would help on other things, but not so much on figures. So that was some of the things I wanted to go with that. So 2, obviously the third would be when that figure is coming out in that month. Obviously put the money away for it, that way and be aware that the figure might get pushed back and delayed, as often happens nowadays. Very rarely does a figure actually come out in the month where it's scheduled to come out. My Warspite figure has been delayed until April. They just pushed her straight back from December till April. This Snow Miku, she was actually a close to 7-month delay. So just be aware that you might have to hoard that money away in an account for several more months or whatever. So I guess that would be point 4, is save your money if the figure gets delayed, because it does happen. It happens a lot. I can guarantee you though it's worth it in the end, because you don't want a really rushed figure or anything. you want it to come out nice and you want it to look good, and you know, they do a good job of that. I'm extremely happy with the Snow Miku figure that I received 7 months later. So she wasn't really Snow Miku anymore. She was more like a Spring Miku, Sakura Miku, but what can you do? Not much that can be done about it. So be patient. You know, you will get it. Just make sure that you save your money, especially if you know, keep your items up to date. So if it does get postponed, cross it out in that month, put like parentheses delayed or whatever, and then put the new month on that month. Say, you know, so Warspite should come out in December, so I have her crossed out, and I've rewritten push to April on that month. That way I knew she was pushed, and then in April I have her written in again. So just, you know, basically it's kind of tedious, but it will save you, especially if you are a big figure collector and you order figures a lot. It will save you, and learn from experience. So free in July. So yeah. Anyways, I hope you all can take something away from this video. And like I said, if there's anybody who's like looking for something, you know, an idea or whatever, or they're just overwhelmed, send them this video and help them out. Tell them to give a thumbs up too. Anyways, hopefully you all have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.